Hello, gentlemen, and welcome to another Pal of You Market Research video. Today, we're going to be discussing Bitcoin's future because Bitcoin's future is highly questionable, especially at this moment. I know that that might be coming across as a surprise to many of you, but you have to remember, especially here on this channel at Pal of You, we have to think in terms of risk and reward. And quite frankly, the risk to reward ratio but for the opportunity of Bitcoin at the price levels it's currently sitting at, with its network effect, with its awareness, blah, 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 with the challenges that are happening in the world and the people who are using it to face and rely on those challenges, it's very interesting. And I would argue to you that the risk reward ratio isn't great right now. And in order to talk about this well, we need to talk about two things. One, what is the foundational, what is the, like, we have to go back to the white paper. What is the purpose of Bitcoin? What is the stated purpose of Bitcoin? And how is it currently being used by institutional investors? And are those two things in sync with one another? And the other thing we have to think about is this quantum computing revolution. This Willow chip, and according to our friend here, Chamath Palihapitiya, Willow is set to, or chips like Willow are approximately 2 years away for disrupting the whatever the cryptographic methods used to secure Bitcoin. Okay? This is not a trivial thing. Chamath is a very intelligent person very intelligent person who is actually as much of an expert on Bitcoin as anyone else is. This guy bought land in Tahoe in like 2014, 2015 with his Bitcoin. This guy's been in Bitcoin longer than you. And he's scared about the structural integrity of the cryptographic methods that are used to secure Bitcoin. So if he's a little bit scared and he thinks that we're about, well, now a little bit less than 2 years away from this chip being able to scale in terms of manufacturing, that it is then able to be stacked on top of other chips and used to, one, you know, undermine the encryption methods used to secure Bitcoin. But a bunch of other people have responded to Chamath quite intelligently, stating that, well, if Bitcoin's cryptography is under risk, then all cryptography is under risk. And that is a profound point. So it's just, but the thing is that other cryptocurrencies, other layer ones, other projects have the ability to actually adapt and evolve with these chips, while Bitcoin, from what I'm hearing, from what I'm seeing, does not possess that capacity to evolve and adapt to something like a Willow quantum chip, given its highly structured, highly work intensive mining process, right? And the other thing I want to discuss is this quote from a very recent Jack Dorsey interview. And Jack Dorsey is a very complicated person in our world today. I mean, he has been, I would say that Jack Dorsey is one of the most controversial figures who kind of gets away with not seeming so over the last 4 to 5 years, especially during COVID, because like we're seeing Zuckerberg kind of change sides and to go from, being like the anti, like being perceived as this anti or pro censorship, obviously operator of Facebook, Instagram, all these things. And Twitter was the kind of the lead, that was the leader in the woke mob. Like, to be honest, like you can find pictures of Jack Dorsey literally with him and his staff talking, like literally it's like it's cool to be, it's literally the shirts that say it's cool to be woke. Okay. So when Elon Musk talks about the woke mind virus and who is spreading it, Jack Dorsey might be a founding father of the woke mind virus itself. And he used Twitter to grow that. And everyone knows that. And he's the one who continues to criticize Musk. He's the one who sold, he wasn't really, he wasn't in charge enough to sell Twitter to Musk, but he was a part of that deal. And he's definitely a part of the reason why Musk felt the need to, one, buy it because Dorsey created it, and then two, fix it because Dorsey, gave it its philosophical direction. But it doesn't. It's very strange because a lot of people, I feel like, cut him a lot of slack for that, and a lot of people in the valley, like even Musk and those guys, they kind of give him some grace regarding why that is. But it doesn't really seem like Dorsey has really changed his political views. It's to say the least, Dorsey is obviously a genius in many ways, not so much now, especially because he started Block, right? So I don't know if you guys remember Block, but he took Square, the company that you used to like swipe your cards and all that, and he kind of rebranded it to Block. And this was, I think, 2021, something like that. And at the time, he was very confident that we're going to build financial products, financial services on top of the Bitcoin Lightning Network, right? That was the whole ethos. And for a guy like me, seeing that and seeing someone who's supposedly highly technical like Jack Dorsey talk in those ways about that potential opportunity, and that vector of building on top of Bitcoin was his optimal path, was very weird. Very, very weird. Because and as you're probably, maybe you've already read this quote that's sitting in front of you, but he's already learned what I learned when he started this process, that you can't do that. Bitcoin's not efficient enough. Bitcoin's far too expensive, far too slow, far too cumbersome of a blockchain to build financial products on top of. So Jack Dorsey is actually finally learning that about 3 or 4 years late from, just if he had a conversation with someone like me back in 2021, he could have saved hundreds of millions of dollars, but that's okay. And that isn't to toot my own horn at all or to pat myself on the back, because there are plenty of other people who could have provided that same insight to Jack. So it's Jack, again, is actually someone I probably really like. I have some friends who've like surfed with him in Costa Rica and stuff. I think he's probably a pretty cool guy. I think I'd probably get along with him great, even though I'd probably disagree with him on a lot of things, in the context of not only just technology, but also politics, value systems, and what frameworks are, because Jack is like kind of that quintessential character who thinks that we can take our original Western values, the Western values that created America, and that we can then um, take those values, revive them, bring them forward, but not bring the God part along. That's not possible. So Jack's a smart guy in the ways that he's smart, and even then, he's not that smart because of Block. So, but he's a billionaire, so we can't call him dumb. Now, let's read this quote. If this just ends up being digital gold, then this, Bitcoin, has failed. I don't think it has a life. If it ends up being a currency that people can use on a daily basis, then it's succeeded. You have to go back to the white paper. This is peer-to-peer electronic cash, and we have not realized that yet. That's why I'm in it. I'm not in it to create digital gold and watch the number go up. I want to be able to use it. I want people to be able to move money without the permission of a bank. If it does not achieve that, then we should move on to something else. And this has been my opinion on Bitcoin since 2017, 2018. Like, he's finally arrived to where I have been at, but it's just so hard because obviously number goes up, number does go up. So it's very difficult to take the position that I have and then to seem correct when the number is going up. But again, guys, we can't think in terms of, like, again, what are we doing here? Premium wealth creation education. We do not think in terms of years. We don't even think in terms of a single decade. We think in terms of decades, right? And Bitcoin, in terms of its collectible value, its novelty value, is undeniable, right? There are only so many of them. It is the first mover advantage, right? So it is kind of like, I do still view it as like the MySpace of crypto, right? It is. And again, all the old heads, the BlackRocks, Michael Saylors, all these old guys who have all the money, they are just starting to understand the underlying technology that Bitcoin unlocked, right? And that's confusing the moment, isn't it? because I believe that if the primary capital allocators that were participating in crypto were between the ages of, say, 25 and 35, and no one else was allowed to participate in Bitcoin, in anything in crypto, we would have a wildly different distribution of capital, right? I don't think Bitcoin, it's possible Bitcoin wouldn't even be the largest cryptocurrency if that were the case, okay? And so when we were forced to think in those terms and we realized that men over 50 years old are the ones who are taking Bitcoin from $16,000 to $95,000, but most fundamentally, okay, it's really just these fucking institutional guys. BlackRock, right? Saylor, these guys who are making giant billion-dollar purchases of Bitcoin. It's not the people who understand the technology at its most nascent and, like, where is technology on its cutting edge, right? So that was an insane. I feel like I was so disrespectful of so many people in this video. I mean, wow. Wow. I mean, I don't really mean any disrespect to Jack Dorsey, even though I kind of do, because Jack Dorsey, well, no, Jack is just a complicated guy in my eyes. I love Jack, actually. Jack has this amazing quote, really inspired me. He has this TED Talk where he talked about the Golden Gate Bridge and how the Golden Gate Bridge is like kind of the perfect product, and that all products should strive to become like that because it performs an essential utility function while also performing a exquisite artistic aesthetic function as well. And and obviously it has the benefits of being a macro thing, of being such a large thing, right? And I think about that a lot because you do really want to just kind of, especially when when you're thinking artistically about things, you want to not forget about the utility of a thing, but you need, like, well, just finding that balance between the utility of something and the beauty of something, and that intersection and that balance. And the Golden Gate Bridge is undeniably that. So yeah, what do you guys think? What is Bitcoin's future? I mean, really? Because again, we already know that when Venezuela, right? When Venezuela has their currency crisis, some people are buying Bitcoin. Most people are just buying stable coins, guys. And they're sending stable coins in this peer-to-peer method, right? Without the permission of a bank. So, like I keep saying to you guys, blockchainization is dollarization. More assets become blockchain, the more people use dollars, okay? And that's a good thing for America, okay? It's almost an essential thing for America, especially given our inflationary concerns and our debasement concerns, right? I'm going to be I'm getting a little bit frustrated because I feel like I'm just repeating the same things over and over again. And then I'm watching these guys be like 3 to 4 years late on the things that I've already been talking about for years. It's very frustrating. So let's share these videos. All right. Love you guys. See ya.